This is an introduction to the Safewaste Turbo 2000 mobile medical waste incineration unit, used to incinerate medical waste on-site wherever it may be produced. Over here we have our demonstration unit, which has successfully carried out over 500 demonstration burns, resulting in the metal being slightly tarnished from the intense heat produced. To the right, you can see a unit in production, a finished ready-to-be-packed unit, and a unit packed for a client. On the ready-to-be-packed unit, you can see the major components that the Safewaste Turbo 2000 consists of, namely the drum lid, the main electrical components box, the exhaust gas stack, and the air intake hose, currently in its rest position. The main components of the unit are very easy to remove and pack, making the unit very mobile and space efficient. For example, the exhaust gas stack can be removed and placed on the outer cage for transport when not in use, as can be seen on our demo unit currently. All in all, the unit is very mobile, very simple, very safe, user-friendly, and requires very little training and only one single phase 220 volt electrical outlet, used to generate air and not heat as in conventional incinerators, allowing for low power consumption when compared to those very same conventional incineration units. Moving on to the controls for the unit, as you can see, they are very simple. An on-off switch, an air intensity variation switch in its start position. This will be moved over to its turbo position once the unit is running, as you can see here. Once the unit is finished, the switch will be moved back to its start position, ready for another burn. Onto the air intake hose. When in use, it must be placed over the air outlet and the drum lid inlet. However, when it is not in use, it can be placed on its cradle for transport. The Safewaste Turbo 2000 medical waste incineration unit is also supplied with an ash poker. This is currently in its holster beside the drum. This is used to move medical waste around inside the drum during the final stages of operation for utter completion of the medical waste burn. Down here we have the standard electrical cord to supply the unit with power, the air filter, which must be cleaned after every single burn, and this can be done either using standard soap and water, or alternatively the air outlet for the unit itself can be used to remove debris from the filter. A spare filter is also supplied. For safety of the operator, we also supply a set of gloves and a set of goggles. Loading of the Safewaste Turbo 2000 is very easy and very simple. The red bags of medical waste currently inside the drum need a source of ignition. In this case, we are using newspaper, but any old paper can be used. The inner cage of the drum, currently seen to the bottom right, fits inside the drum itself and needs to be filled to the top and placed inside the drum just before the burn. The loading procedure of the drum and medical waste contained therein is made much easier by the fact that the pot lid above the drum is easily moved out of the way, allowing for just one person to load the unit and making it even more efficient on staff. Moving on to the actual burn itself, as you can see, we have our newspaper covering our red medical waste bags, and all that is needed to get it started is a lighter or a match or some description of an ignition system to get the newspaper to light properly. Once the newspaper is adequately lit, the lid can now be removed from its cradle and placed over the drum. The G-clamps can now be tightened to make sure that it is a tight fit. The air intake hose can now be placed over the air outlet and the air inlet for the lid, and the exhaust gas stack can be placed on top of the lid. From here on out, the unit is started and turned to turbo, and 20 burn is complete. Now the unit is completely cool from the top down and safe to touch. You can begin by removing the exhaust gas stack and placing it on its outer safety cage. Then remove the air intake hose, placing it on its transport cradle. Once that is done, you can loosen the G-clamps holding the lid to the drum. The lid can now be removed and placed on its own cradle. Now the safety cage can be opened. The safety chain holding the drum in place can now be loosened and removed, allowing for the drum to be removed from the unit itself. The inner cage can now be pulled out, completely free of any medical waste. Now it is just as simple as removing the ash from the drum and placing it in a everyday refuge removal bin. The overall percentage of the ash remaining is roughly 7 to 10% of the original volume of the medical waste, as you can see over here.